Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. With Sentinels taking one of the final trophies on offer this season, the big question is, what is going to happen to their team behind the scenes? Is pANcada going to be happy being a bench player on what could be one of the better teams in the world? Or would he prefer to leave Sentinels and go and play for another team potentially in the Brazilian region? Should he just collect the paycheck and sit on Sentinels sub-bench until they potentially need him? Should he go elsewhere? Should he feel disrespected by the way that he's been treated by Sentinels, even though they've made the change and it's very much been justified? Very much intrigued to your perspective in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new. As always, I greatly appreciate it. This is a kind of a crazy picture as well, actually, here of Jig in the Sentinels jersey. That's one to hang on the wall and frame. Also, though, big talking points here from Leo Farrier. So VALORANT esports come out, and I've got to say, I do admire the transparency. There's been certain things I've agreed with Leo on. There's been certain things that I think myself and the community have disagreed with Leo on. But what I will say is at least they're transparent. And at least Leo's transparent in their intentions, what they're trying to accomplish, and they put it all out there. So let's go back to the top of this article. The letter to the community end of year. They go through and talk about all the things they've done and all the nice things and the numbers and, you know, to show the investors and whatever, all this good stuff. What we're more really interested in, though, I suppose, is the future of the league. They talk about what's happening with game changes, but also VCT China, confirming these are the 10 teams that will be there going forward into next season. So we talked about these guys yesterday, and we'll see them in more detail in a second. We'll say it's kind of cool to have AG in here, all gamers, because I think they're one of the top, if not the top, like crossfire team. So Tai Lu, to me, when I think Chinese Counter-Strike, I always think Tai Lu, a team that was great to support a couple of years ago. And all gamers, I think, have also, you know, kind of dominated the Crossfire scene in some respect, which is, if you guys aren't familiar with Crossfire, it's just an FPS game that's super popular in China. My roommate, who is from China, used to absolutely play it a lot at the time. So they've been good in that scene. So it's kind of cool to see these different organizations come together. Wolves is in there as well, which is still kind of wild. So they talk through all these talking points. This is quite a big one, though, on the kickoff tournaments for the season. So there will be some sort of kickoff events in the Americas on February the 16th, starting then 17th in the Pacific, 20th for EMEA, and 22nd for China. Each league will host a kickoff tournament to pit their teams against each other to crown a winner and qualify teams for Masters Madrid. So this is kind of cool, right? And last year, the lock-in event in Sao Paulo, I think we all kind of realized that was probably going to be a bit of a one-off. I don't think they were going to do that every year and fly every team in the world out to this event to play what was basically a single elimination bracket. Loads of teams going home first. Especially last year we had 30 teams. This year there's like 43, 44 basically across the relative leagues. And there will be more and more with Ascension winners over time. So it's just not really feasible. So they do the kickoffs in region, and the teams that do the best, the top two, will get through to Masters Madrid. Now Masters Madrid, only 8 teams of course go, but it won't just be a straight up double elimination tournament, and it will apparently no longer be a GSL style group. So GSL style group is basically win 2 before you lose 2, effectively a double elimination bracket within the group itself. It's a very common format. We saw it at the Africa TV tournament. Swiss stage, however, is when the teams get paired together, either randomly or based on some sort of pre-tournament seeding, and then if you win, you move into the 1-in-0 category, and then you play another 1-in-0 team. If you lose, you play another 0-in-1 team, and you play that until either you win 3 series or whatever the number's going to be. So I love Swiss stage, used in Counter-Strike majors a lot of the time, and it has its flaws, but it has its major benefits as well. So interesting to see. I think it's cool that they're experimenting, and a Swiss system group stages will be arriving before the double elimination bracket for the tournament. So that's going to be exciting stuff for sure. They also talk about the sustainability, how they're putting money in, and that the Champions Collection shared over $22 million back to the teams itself. And they will also be bringing in every partner team, including Ascension teams, will be allowed to do this going forward. So I think they go on to share this slightly further down, but I think it was made clear in this tweet as well that there will be VCT team bundles in February. Every team gets these. I don't know if that was the initial plan. There were rumors that the Ascension teams would be excluded from this, but now they're going to be in this, which is really good stuff. I kind of, you know, the Guards, a messy organization, they're now basically dead, but I do really like their colours. Kind of a shame that we didn't get one for them, I think. But G2 will be there in their place. Every team gets the same benefits on this, including a gun skin and goodies as well. So This is really cool. I think great story for the league. Just to clarify, these are the 10 teams in the VCT China's at AG, Billy, Edward Gaming, FPX, JD, Nova Esports, Trace Esports, TEC, Tyloo, and then Wolves. So that rounds out the 10. Some teams, of course, unfortunately not making it. Rare Atom, for example, have done very well. This is the issue. You can be as good as you want, but we saw it with Optic that they were the best team in the world, arguably, very close to it, and they didn't make it into franchising, right? So how good you are doesn't necessarily relate to whether you're going to get in. It depends on your organization, and it's unfortunate for the guys on Rare Atom that have done, pretty well, to be honest, all things considered, for the last couple of months in the Chinese, Evolution series, but that wasn't enough to get them in. So there it will be an Ascension. Hopefully they'll, give it a good go to win it and stuff like this. Other teams in the Ascension tournaments going forwards, Dapper is going to be involved on Oxygen, of course. They took down MXS yesterday. These are familiar names, of course, because we saw Sentinels get their first victories of the season, really, or at least of this, December, November period so far on the board, when they played Oxygen and the likes of Moist Chopper Fire for the last couple of months. This was the Sean Gares off-season showdown, where in the end, again, it was Verno, really, who was putting on a clinic here. 13-9 the first map, Bind went 13-9 the other way, Breeze was 13-6, and Oxygen win the Sean Gares showdown and get over the line. So definitely two teams expected to be right up there on the new season. We've got to talk about the Sentinels, see more what happens going forward. To be honest, I didn't really mention this shot yesterday, but this is one of the craziest flicks that I've really ever seen. This is TenZ back in business, baby, and I've got to say, TenZ being comfortable is a scary sign for the opposition. I mean, he goes, to be honest, when Monyet died here, I actually didn't think TenZ even killed him. I was like, wow, Monyet died? Like, the TenZ, wow, he flicked there, that was crazy timing. But I was like, damn, TenZ actually hit that shot. Like, he saw the Cypher ult. He then kind of flicked to him through the smoke, like, absolutely wild stuff. So, nice shot, Cypher ult OP, says TenZ. But they won the tournament at the end of the day. I know that this was going posted on Reddit here, Zelsis, the faker of Valorant, and all this stuff that Zelsis was having a good time with. But at the end of the day, Zelsis gets the tournament victory. It's really difficult to say. I know that you guys were debating yesterday who's the most important player on Sentinels. It's so difficult. Like, I think everyone is very important in their own rights here. Zelsis has obviously been massively influential. TenZ super important. John.G is the IGL. I'd probably give him the benefit of the doubt at the moment in that category, but doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I guess the issue is for pAncada is like, well, who could I possibly replace? Zelsis ain't going anywhere on this evidence. There's no way. I mean, they've come in here, they beat PaperX 3-0 in the finals. And as I say yesterday, it wasn't the fact that they won, it was the manner of the victory. It was the manner of the way that they dealt with the difficult situations at times. It was the fact that they were winning rounds in like every plausible way. Sometimes it was good strat, sometimes it was clutching, sometimes it was good utility, sometimes it was just taking advantage of mistakes, and like basically every way that you can win, they won. And they made PaperX look not even that competitive, to be honest. So Ethan says, Sentinels are so back, and we also got this follow-up as well from Ethan, where he says, back in LA, and as Som says, for EG, like, are you back there for EG, or what's going on? Because he's still got EG in the name tag. This, though, from George Geddes, just came out this morning. Congrats, NRG, for winning champions. Everyone's playing for second. So, we know full well the NA region is pretty strong. We know teams like PaperX and Fnatic and Sentinels, quite possibly, and teams like this will be there in conversation. But apparently NRG have put together a good team, and, I can only assume that it's this roster that Sean mentions, the Demon 1, Ethan, Crashies, Victor, Marv roster. It may not be, but it may be. So if that's now locked in, that's a pretty scary sign. But speaking of FNS, of course, who's played with some of these guys before, he gave his thoughts on the pAncada situation, what the plan should be from his point of view. And it's tough for pAncada. He's not done anything wrong, but it's just how things have worked out when Zelsis had to sub in that one time. And then clearly the energy was in a great spot. And now pAncada's sitting there behind the scenes thinking, these guys just walked away with a W. I'm here on the sidelines. I'm a world champion in my own right. I'm a better player than Zelsis on like a maybe a one-to-one level. You can certainly argue that. And it's still early days for the Sentinels team. So if you're pAncada, what do you do? Do you bide your time trying to get back in? Or do you say, screw you guys, I'm out of here?
I think it's a Zelsa stiff.
This is actually hands down the best I've seen him play, though.
He's 100% the best he's ever played.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
pAncada. What did you say?
pAncada's is wondering why he's leaving there.
You think pAncada will join another team, or just stay 6-man and just collect the paycheck and chill?
I'd collect the paycheck and chill.
I think he's
showing, right
now, right?
Yeah, well, EG doesn't have a team.
He can definitely get join a Brazilian roster.
You think he can join a franchise team 100%?
I think one of the
Brazilian
like
MIBR or something.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe he's down to chill. Like chilling as a 6 is not that bad. We have to watch practice. That's kind of boring, no?
Yeah, if I'm playing Kada, I don't even want to come in.
Come in, then we lose and everyone on me? Yeah, right, buddy. Keep playing till you lose. Then we'll talk.
Here's the thing. It's nobody's fault. Like, Pancada doesn't deserve to be benched. But Jordan is clearly proving that him being slotted into the team has brought this team to another level. A level never before seen, by the way. So, as the roster and as management, what the do you do at that point? This is nobody's fault.
Oh, you can see Pancada in the practice room or the stream.
Guy like me, I wouldn't even be in that room.
Oh, but like, he has to also show that he wants his spot back.
Thing is, he sees them playing perfectly. So what do? Is there a chance to get your spot back? It has to be a chance. Somehow Pancada's trying out.
So this is the thing for Pancada, right? He hasn't really posted anything on socials for the last couple of days. You can see like December the 6th, the last time he put anything on. And, you know, from his point of view, obviously you can understand the frustration because he hasn't come out with a tweet saying, oh, congrats to my team, so happy for them. And maybe he will, and maybe he does think that. But if I was Pancada, I'm not sure I'd be thinking that. I'd be thinking there's no way that these guys having all this success now, having got me out of the team, put me back in and I'll be doing well. And maybe as Tarek says, the plan is just wait for them to lose and then you can get your chance. Because it's not all going to be easy, you know, like Sentinels aren't just going to win anything, everything forever. They're going to be difficult times. There are going to be times where they're going to have to contemplate making a change, especially with Pancada sitting there on the bench of the team. But if you're Pancada, what's your plan? Do you sit there, collect the paycheck and, just run it up, I suppose? But if you're a real competitor, you don't want to do that. Maybe Pancada would prefer, if he had a choice, to go to one of the Brazilian teams, maybe MIBR or, maybe even Loud back there again, I don't know. Like, just one of the Brazilian teams, I'm sure, would take Pancada back in. But maybe, does he want to do that? I don't know. That's a question. But when you're a player of his caliber, and I wouldn't say Sentinels have done anything wrong in this scenario, and I don't think they've disrespected him at all. Like, I think the way that they've treated him and everything seems to be perfectly reasonable, and they haven't even announced Sentinels that Pancada's benched, really. They've kind of left it as a bit of a grey area, but everybody kind of knows what's been going on here. And in addition to that, Zeltis is one of the top-rated players of the tournament. Like, of course, we had Jampy #1, who had a monster tournament and looked like one of the best VALORANT players, if not the best in the world, on this evidence. Then we had Zekken right up here, Jing, of course, coming to the Paper X guys. Tens was here mainly on the Omen, and then Zeltis was the 3rd highest rated Sentinels player as 9th highest rated in the entire tournament. So when this is happening, like, there's just nowhere for Pancada to try and go. And this is the thing, like, if Sentinels are going to make a change at some point, it's probably not going to be for Zeltis on current evidence. So then it's like, does Pancada find a spot elsewhere in the team? Maybe not. So I think there's big questions for him to answer, really. If MIBR or some other Brazilian team were to come knocking and say, hey, we'll buy you out of your Sentinels contract, come and play for us, would you accept that if you're Pancada? Or would you say, well, I'm better off being the 6th man for one of the best teams in the world and then try and get my way back into that team because there's other advantages to being on Sentinels than just being on what is clearly a very competitive team at the moment. But very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.